Anyone can make sourdough bread, and I'm gonna prove it to you. This is a real bread. Hey, what's up? Today, as you asked, I'm gonna share with you a simplified sourdough bread recipe which is easy to understand, and I'm gonna explain to you every single detail. And after watching this video, anyone can make sourdough bread. Did you know that sourdough bread is not a kind of bread? It's the way that all of the bread made in the past. So, what in the world such a bread can be difficult to make, right? But why sourdough bread? I mean, what's wrong with normal bread? What makes people to love sourdough bread? First thing first, is way tastier than normal bread. Let me explain to you. Even though you are an athlete, you need carb in your diet, right? What if I can tell you sourdough bread is not just healthier than normal bread due to its long fermentation, but it's also easier to digest and it's gonna make you feel full for a couple of hours. Plus, I guarantee once you taste this beautiful bread, you never go back to normal bread. That's why I'm telling you continue watching this video, like the video and subscribe my channel so you don't miss my next videos. Alright, let's get into this, shall we? First thing first, you need a super active starter for this recipe. You can buy it from the bakeries or order it online. Once you fall in love with making sourdough bread, I guarantee you will make it in the future. But making sourdough starter is also so simple. It's just flour and water. You mix it together, you let it sit for 2 to 3 days, and after that you start feeding it until it dries and you have something that you can make bread with it. For that also I have recipe. I put the link somewhere here, you can check it out later. Into the bowl add 200 milliliters of water. 6 gram or about 1 teaspoon of salt. I mean this kind of teaspoon. Mix it. And 60 gram of active starter. And 300 gram bread strong flour. I saw many pro bakers share their recipe on YouTube and they mention about all-purpose flour. What they don't consider is most of the home bakers, they don't access to a good high-protein all-purpose flour. So my piece of advice to you, especially if you are a beginner, is to choose the strongest bread flour that you can find in your area. Use your best tool, your hands. Wet it up and mix the ingredients together until there is no dry spot. With minimum effort, we don't want to knead it. Now I'm gonna cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes. Was it difficult? 30 minutes later, we didn't do anything to this dough yet, but the gluten is a little bit stronger now. What they usually do is they wet up their hands, grab each side of the dough and fold it in. What I'm going to do is bring the dough on the surface so I have fully control on the dough, and with the help of the surface and with the help of my bench scraper, I'm gonna round it up and I'm gonna bring it together. You need to make the surface non-stick, right? So I'm gonna use a little spray of water. You can even rub the oil on your surface and make it non-stick. Up to you. And bring it on the surface. Grab each side and fold it in the center, and like so. Now flip the dough. We are trying to create tension as much as we can. And while we are pulling the dough toward ourselves, with the help of the surface, we are pushing the dough inside itself too. Like so, we are trying to create a smooth surface on the dough. So later, we are going to work on this surface. For example, when we want to score the dough, we score the dough from this smooth surface. With the help of the surface, beautifully and magically, the dough comes together. And that's how the dough no more stick to your hands, right? Was it difficult? This is your best friend, especially if you are dealing with a high hydration dough. And you can transfer the dough into the bowl easily. That was it. Now I'm gonna let it rest for another hour and I'm gonna make a coffee for myself. Easy peasy, right? As you can see, the dough is smoother and more elastic. I'm gonna wet up the surface and make sure nothing gonna stick anywhere. I'm gonna bring my almost elastic dough. Lamination not just help to build more strength, but give you an evaluation of your dough, how the gluten has developed inside your dough. And if you want to add any filling to your bread, this is the right time. Like so, you make sure you have your filling on every single layer of the dough. Go ahead and fold the dough inside itself. Fold one side, then another side. Try to stretch a little bit while you are folding it. We are going to pull the dough toward ourselves and push the dough inside itself with the help of the surface. And we are going to create that beautiful, smooth surface we are always looking for. Now, this bad boy gonna rest for 2 to 3 hours. So it's finished its bulk fermentation, and then I'm gonna shape it and I'm gonna put it into the fridge and bake it the next day. Later, I'm gonna show you how you can tell the dough finished its bulk fermentation properly. Cover it and let it rest for 2 to 3 hours. First thing first, those beautiful bubbles and fermentation are good signs. The dough has risen and it's airy and fluffy, but hold its shape. As you can see, the dough released from the side of the bowl easily. Let's bring it on the surface and see how it's look. Use a little bit of oil to make it non-stick. And when you turn the bowl, the dough released from the bowl easily. To pre-shape this dough, easily just grab each side of the dough and bring it to the center. Grab and stretch a little bit in the center, and this one also in the center. Flip the dough, and the same technique. We just want to create that smooth surface we are always looking for, right? So we turn the dough and we try to shape the dough. And now leave it on the surface, uncover or cover it with just a damp towel and let it rest for 20 to 30 minutes so the dough relax again and ready for final shaping. These are bannetons, but as a beginner, maybe you don't want to buy one of these. You can use any bowl you have in your kitchen or any basket. Cover it with a towel, dust it with some flour, and you are good to go. Let's shape this beautiful dough. First thing first, look at this dough. If by now you have a shaggy dough which doesn't hold its shape, then definitely something wrong. You need to check whether your starter doesn't work or whether you use the wrong type of flour. For shaping, nothing crazy. Before you're gonna shape the dough, as a beginner, you need to think about what you are going to do, because later you don't have time to think about it. You need to make action, right? Oil up everything, even your bench scraper, the surface you are going to use it, or you can sprinkle a little bit of flour. Quickly just flip the dough and put the smooth side down. I'm going to show you how I shape a batard. First thing first, try to make a rectangular. We release a little bit of the air. Grab one side, stretch a little bit, and then put it in the center and fold it. So this was the smooth area and non-stick area, but this area was sticky. So we use it as a benefit. And then grab the other side, stretch a little bit again, and fold it. And now those beautiful sides stick together. Turn the dough 90 degrees, and now we are going to grab this part, stretch a little bit, roll it, and push it inside. So stretch, roll, and tuck. Stretch, roll, and tuck. Roll it and tuck it. Roll it and tuck it. roll it and tuck it, and you have a beautiful shape like this. Seal the edges beautifully, like so. As you can see, this is totally handleable because it's a low hydration dough. Put the smooth side down again into the banneton. It's ready to proof. 30 minutes to 1 hour at room temperature. Then I'm gonna transfer it into the fridge and let it cold ferment for about 10 to 12 hours. And the next day in the morning, I'm gonna bake it and enjoy a fresh loaf of bread with my breakfast or maybe my brunch. Alright, waiting is over because it's baking day. Scoring also can be a little bit tricky for beginner bakers. Let me show you how I score my bread, and later I'm gonna talk about my oven adjustment, which is very important. If you don't have Dutch oven, don't worry about it. I'm gonna show you how to bake without Dutch oven. If you don't have Dutch oven, use an upside down tray with an extra pan, so later you can pour boiling water on that and create a steam. And if you don't have razor, you can score with bread knife. This one made from open baking method. 20 minutes with steam and 20 minutes without steam. If you are a rookie baker, using baking paper make your life much more easier. Trust me, you don't want the dough stick while you are transferring into the oven. I'm gonna bake this right out of the fridge. So simply just transfer it on the baking paper. If the dough was sticky, you can use a little bit of flour. Mine is not sticky, but I like to use flour because I'm gonna score it and it's look nicer. Here you can be creative. You can make some art on your dough. Now we need one beautiful deep score. Always hold the razor like this, and this is the right movement. The angle is about 45 degrees. You need to be confident. One beautiful deep scoring. You can always trim the missing part. Nothing wrong with it, but don't push it too hard. You can make sure it's gonna give you a beautiful ear on your dough. And now I'm gonna transfer it into preheated oven. This is more interesting. Preheat your oven at 250 degrees Celsius. Use an upside down tray plus a pot or a cover or a bowl or anything you have in your kitchen can resist heat. Bake with the cover for 20 minutes. Reduce the heat and bake for 20 more minutes. Let's check the crumb together. Someone said, why sourdough bread becomes so trending? I mean, why not? What is better than this to become trendy, right? And this is the kind of crumb we are always looking for. Light, somehow even, except this part, but it's amazing to me. All of those effort we put, worth it? Totally worth it. This is a real bread.